Hello! Happy Friday! I'm right on time, so I'm just gonna hang out. Unless y'all are sleeping in this morning. Hi, Alyssa. Hey, Hadley. If you haven't already, friends, hey Ash, go ahead and open up the Seedfolks book on Classroom for me. It'll be helpful for me in case I want to have you go back in and look at something. Ash, just shoot me a thumbs up if you can hear me, just so we can make sure that issue is solved. Awesome. Alright, well, I'm going to get started. Today we are going to read Wendell. This is chapter 3 of Seedfolks. That's Wendell. He's wearing a hat. And I don't know if you availed yourself of the quiz in my stories, but I threw together just a quick, 3-question quiz in my stories. That will be, I don't know, it's supposed to be fun. I like Instagram quizzes. I think they're fun. But, I mean, I'm a teacher, so, you know. I guess I probably think quizzes are more fun than the average person. So, anyway, you can go ahead and take that whenever. That's just about, the Anna chapter, so as long as you've read or listened to me read that chapter, then you should be able to do it. Or if you have good test-taking skills, you could also probably do it, but it's up there for you, and I will keep that in my highlights, in case you miss it. So, today's chapter is Wendell, and like I said yesterday, Anna and Wendell are the only two characters that we see in each other's stories, that identify each other in their stories. So if you're clever and paying attention, later in the book, you can identify characters that we've previously read about. So there is a moment where you're like, oh, the person that character is talking about must be Kim, but nobody ever says, then Kim came walking over to my tomato plants or whatever. So this is the only place in the book where we see these two characters interact. And I also really love Wendell's chapter because it's kind of sweet. So anyway, Wendell, he is a man, like I said, showed you the picture. There he is. And we'll get going. So, my phone doesn't ring much, which suits me fine. That's how I got the news about our boy, shot dead like a dog in the street. And the word last year about my wife's car wreck. I can't hear a phone and not jerk inside. When Anna called, I was still asleep. Phone calls that wake me up are the worst. So he has had all these negative experiences, right? So the first one being his son, who was killed, and the second one being his wife, who obviously also was killed in a car wreck or a car crash. So he doesn't like it when the phone rings because he thinks there's going to be more bad news. Hey, Bobby. So now Anna has called him, or Anna. I probably will go back and forth with how I say her name. But now, Anna has called, and she's woken Wendell up. So she says, "Get up here, quick," she says. "I live on the ground floor and watch out for her a little. We're the only white people left in the building." I ran up the stairs. I could tell it was serious. I prayed I wouldn't find her dead. When I got there, she looked perfectly fine. She dragged me over to the window. "Look down there," she says. "They're dying." "Who's dying?" "What?" I yelled back. Now, who do you think is dying? Remember, she dug up something at the end of the last chapter that now she's kind of freaking out about. Kim's lima beans, right? So, "What?" I yelled back. "The plants," she says. I was mad. She gave me some binoculars and told me all about the Chinese girl. Now, you and I know that Kim is not Chinese, right? Nice, Ash. Do we remember what Kim's background is? I'm referencing my text, so if you have yours open, you can reference it too. So, once again, I'm just assuming that you're answering these in your head. Nice, Hadley. She is Vietnamese, which we know because she says it. She said her dad is from Vietnam. She says, in Vietnam we had no weather like that. So she's Vietnamese. But Anna and Wendell don't know that. So she says the Chinese girl. I found the plants and got them in focus. There were 4 of them in a row, still little. They were wilted. Leaves flopped flat on the ground. What are they? She asked. Some kind of beans. I grew up on a little farm in Kentucky, but she planted them way too early. She's lucky those seeds even came up. So he grew up on a farm, which is how he can identify what the plant is based on the leaves. But they did, Anna said, and it's up to us to save them. So they're not doing great, and Anna's feeling like maybe this is her fault, because she dug them up, right? It was a weekend in May, and hot. You'd have thought that those beans were hers. They needed water, especially in that heat. She said the girl hadn't come in 4 days, sick probably, or gone out of town. Anna had twisted her ankle and couldn't manage the stairs. She pointed to a pitcher. Fill that up and soak them good. Quick now. School janitors take too much bossing all week to listen to an extra helping on weekends. I stared at her one long moment, then took my time about filling the pitcher. So does he really want to do this for her? Maybe he's like, understands why it needs to be done, but he doesn't like being told what to do, which, is fair. I walked down the stairs and into the lot and found the girls' plants. Now, in the side of my book, the English teacher who had this before me wrote, it's backwards for you, but it says irony. Irony is when what's expected isn't really what happens. It's a really vague definition, but see if you can figure out what the irony is here in this section. I walked down the stairs and into the lot and found the girls' plants. You don't plant beans till the weather's hot. Then I saw what had kept her seeds from freezing. The refrigerator in front of them had bounced the sunlight back on the soil, heating it up like an oven. I bent down and gave the dirt a feel. It was hard-packed and light-colored. I studied the plants. Leaves shaped like spades in a deck of cards. Definitely beans. I scraped up a ring of dirt around the first plant to hold the water and any rain that fell. I picked up the pitcher and poured the water slowly. Then I heard something move and spun around. The girl was there, stone still, 10 feet away, holding her own water jar. So Kim has come. Before we go on to what happens here, did you catch the irony? It's in the first part of the paragraph. Give you a second. If you're typing, go for it, even if I start talking about the answer. Alright, so I'm going to read it specifically, and then you can tell me what's ironic about this. So, Wendell says, you don't plant beans until the weather's hot. Then I saw what had kept her seeds from freezing. The refrigerator in front of them had bounced the sunlight back on the soil, heating it up like an oven. So, refrigerators usually do what? Keep things cold, right? And in this case, the refrigerators are doing the opposite. They're keeping things warm. So that's irony. So it's what's not expected, right? You expect a refrigerator to keep things cold, but in this situation, because of the way the light is bouncing, it's actually keeping them warm, and it's prevented them from freezing. So that's the irony there. Just a side note, a little literary term for you there. Okay, so now, fast forward. So Kim has shown up, and Wendell's there watering plants that aren't his. He's watering her plants, and she's shown up. We're going to see what happens. She hadn't even seen me behind the refrigerator. She looked afraid for her life. Maybe she thought I'd jump up and grab her. I gave her a smile and showed her that I was just giving her plants some water. This made her eyes go even bigger. I stood up slowly and backed away. I smiled again. She watched me leave. We never spoke one word. I walked back there that evening and checked on the beans. Now, this is when I've been saying for days now, community garden, and you're all like, all right, Miss Albino, we have a vacant lot with like 5 lima beans in it. Like, what's this community garden situation? Here's where we're going to start to see that what I'm talking about is real. I walked back there that evening and checked on the beans. They had picked themselves up and were looking fine. I saw that she had made a circle of dirt around the other 3 plants, which is what he showed her how to do, right? In that previous paragraph. I scraped up a ring of dirt around the first plant to hold the water in any rain that fell. So he did this, and that's when she interrupted him. So he didn't get to finish the rest, so then she goes back in and finished the rest. Out of nowhere, the words from the Bible came to my head, and a little child shall lead them. I didn't know why at first. Then, I did. There's plenty about my life that I can't change. Can't bring the dead back to life on this earth. And when he says the dead, he's talking, of course, about his wife and his son who have been killed and taken away from him, right? He's kind of sad. Can't bring the dead back to life on this earth. Can't make the world loving and kind. Can't change myself into a millionaire. But a patch of ground in this trashy lot, I can change that. Can change it big. Better to put my time into that than moaning about the other all day. That little grammar school girl showed me that. So he's saying that he learned from Kim that you can't change everything, but you can do some things that make you feel better. Possibly an important lesson for us in this current time. We can't change everything about the world right now, which is a little bit crazy. I can't change the fact that I can't teach you guys right now, but you know what? I can live stream with all 4 of you that are here warming my heart this morning, right? And that's all we can do. We can just do these little things that can make us feel better. All right, the lot had buildings on 3 sides. I walked around and picked myself out a spot that wouldn't be shaded too much. I dragged the garbage off to the side and tossed out the biggest pieces of broken glass. I looked over my plot, squatted down, and fingered the soil a while. That Monday, I brought a shovel home from work. And that's where the chapter ends. So, we have to predict what he's going to do with the shovel. So go ahead and throw your predictions in there, Bob. You can put down your Lucky Charms for 3 seconds and throw your predictions in here. Paul Fleischman ends this chapter by saying, why did I close my book? That Monday, I brought a shovel home from work. What is his plan? What is what he decides to do based on this last page? You know? A patch of ground in this trashy lot, I can change that. I looked over my plot, squatted down. That Monday, I brought a shovel home from work. What does he intend to do here? Thank you, Bobby. Nice job. Good job, Ash. Nice job, Alyssa. All right. And that is Wendell. So now, once we have Wendell's plot, things are going to start to kind of continue blossoming, if you'll forgive the pun. Nice, Ash. Yep, turn it into a community garden, exactly. And on Monday, we will meet Gonzalo. Something that I am planning and hoping to do is to create a Kahoot based on the first 3 characters in this book, because Miss Cadell told me that you can play remote Kahoot. So I can create a Kahoot with a few questions from each of the chapters and throw it up on Classroom for you all, and we'll keep going with this next week. I don't know if I'll get to that today because I have a pretty long to-do list, but that's one of my plans. Maybe you can play it on Monday. On Monday, early in the morning, I will throw on my story a quiz about Wendell to just get you prepped for our next chapter, Gonzalo. Bring your friends. And if you think that there's a better time for me to do this when more people are up, awake, functioning, not eating cereal like Bobby is, let me know, because I'm pretty flexible. Obviously, I'm not doing anything except sitting around here doing some schoolwork and watching Netflix. So let me know. Maybe I'll post a quiz in my stories about that. And I have a question down here from Hadley, I presume. Go. Did the author link the spade leaves and the shovel on purpose? Fascinating question. So background for everyone else. A spade is a type of shovel. Yes. Okay, it's another word for shovel. The spade leaves and the type of shovel. I'm gonna go with no on that one, and here's why. I think that so Hadley asked, does the author describe the leaves as spade-looking leaves and then leave us with the last image of a shovel to, like, bring our mind to something? I think no, and here's why. Feel free to disagree with me. I think that he chose the lima beans on purpose to be something that Kim's family would have in their house. And I think those lima beans probably have spade-shaped leaves. Well, maybe actually I'm talking myself into that, because he could have brought home an implement that helps you with gardening that's not a shovel. So, I'm gonna go with yes. Sure, yes. He is drawing your attention to what's happening in this book by pulling together those images. Love it. Nice job, Hadley. Cool. If there's anything else, go ahead and leave it on my story. Send me a message. You can... they are spade-shaped, though. Hi, Marlboro Public Schools. Hadley, is there any way you can share an image with me? Maybe we need to look up what lima bean leaves. What do lima bean leaves look like? Lima beans. Are we going to finish talk? Bobby, I think we're not going to finish it till we're back in school. Sorry. Lima bean. Hadley, I can't. I'm not doing a good job here. Lima bean plants? I can't figure out what I should be. They are spade-shaped, though. Okay, so here's what lima bean leaves look like. Oh my gosh, can I flip? Yeah, here we go. So that's an image of a lima bean plant. That's not actually the one I thought I was showing you. Alright, well, anyway. You decide for yourself. That's the fun of literary analysis, I guess. Alright, I'm just gonna wrap up really quickly. Okay, so Monday, 9:30. If I change the time, then I will let you all know. How do I... Okay, I can't. If I change the time, I will let you know. I probably won't change it for Monday, so I'll definitely do it at 9:30 on Monday, but then if I do decide to change it, I'll let you know on Monday, and I'll change it for Tuesday. So I'll throw that survey up in my stories, and you all can let me know what you think. And I think that's it for me. Copy and paste. Yeah, you're right, but then I'd have to leave the stream. Anyway. Hadley, why don't you and I continue having this conversation after? Alright, my friends, so have a good weekend. There will be a Kahoot coming sometime either today or Monday. I will see you Monday at 9:30. And if you haven't taken the Anna quiz, but you read the Anna chapters, go take it. It's fun. My husband helped me design one of the slides. He had a blast. Yeah, and that's it for me. Let me know if you need anything else. I'm always looking at your messages to me, so that's a great way to get in touch. Otherwise, Classroom is totally fine. And I'll see ya. All right, folks. Bye. Have a great morning. Have a great day.